Hello everyone, I Harshit Goyal on behalf of Collegedunia family take this pleasure of welcoming Professor Rahul Banerjee to be our honorable dignitary for presenting his thoughts in our series of thoughtful leadership. Welcome sir, welcome to our session. We are glad to have you here. Thank you for joining us sir. Sir, please allow me a couple of minutes to give you a brief introduction about you and your profile to our audience. Can I proceed sir?
Sure.
So Professor Rahul Banerjee is currently working as the director of LNMIIT and also teaches computer science and engineering at the Institute. There is a PhD holder in computer science and engineering in the area of hybrid intelligence systems. He has led and participated in several funded research projects, including those funded by European Commission in the area of next generation networking. In addition, several corporate houses like Microsoft Research, IBM, Cisco, and Google have supported his work in a variety of forms and grants. There is also active research collaborations involving MIT, University of Oxford, Penn State University, University of Bath, University of Haute El Sake, and ITM amongst others. Sir has also served on technical committees related to the Bureau of Indian Studies (BIS), and IEEE, apart from playing an active role in select work groups of the Internet Engineering Task Force (IETF). He is also a senior member of IEEE and a member of ACM, ISCA, and ISG. So, sir, it's a pleasure to have you here on our platform, and it's my honor to get a chance to interview you and have your thoughts presented in front of our audience. So, thank you, sir.
Thank you. May I know who the audience is?
So, the viewers of Collegedunia and all the prospective who are students who are looking to get the admission into LNMIIT, the students all across the India and international students who are coming to India for their future career growth. They are the audience for us.
All right.
So, sir, my first question for today's interview would be that what is your motivation that keeps you so much well connected with the education sector?
Simple. See, each one of us keeps learning all through our lives. These days, things change so fast that if we stop learning, we somewhere fall behind with respect to the contemporary expectations. And if you can continue learning, you can continue working as long as you want. Important is probably to decide what is that any student, any aspirant, and any professional, including even me, does want from life, right? So it's not primarily about getting a degree, it's not primarily getting placed, it's probably far bigger than that. What you would enjoy doing should decide what kind of choice you will make in your life. Being a good human being, learning what you want to learn, preferably learning from the best brains in an open learning environment where you could question things, understand. The scientific inquiry is encouraged, right? If all of these are to be there, I need to learn from my students, my teachers, my peers, from the rest of the world through multiple platforms that I do get connected to. And yes, of course, books and other resources continue. So that's in a nutshell. It's not just about education in the sense it is perceived, but it is all about life and the necessary tools to equip ourselves to live a life of the kind we might want.
Excellent, excellent. So, my next question would be that holding the key position of director at LNMIIT, what is your philosophy of leadership or your style of leadership which you like to continue?
See, I don't have a style of leadership per se. What I would simply like to say is that a leader is nothing without his or her team, right? Or a leader is as good as the team is. What happens many times, many people in your team would have their individual capabilities. One of the things is probably to identify their respective talents, strengths, because you can build only on strengths. If there are certain weaknesses which every human being would have, to try to see that they get either opportunities or timely feedback to correct those, because sometimes those weaknesses could lead to new opportunities if they are handled well in a positive way. So there are two ways to look at a life. probably a leader's job is to see which is the better way by making everyone feel that yes, he or she is worth. Institute does require him or her, whether it is a student, a staff, or a faculty. Everyone has his or her own role to play. And it is only as much as we respect and trust one another, we could probably kind of divide the responsibilities amongst ourselves, then fine tune, see who is able to handle what with some kind of mentorship at appropriate level. Because every institution would have some people very experienced, some people probably at the middle of a level of experience, some relatively fresh. Those who are fresh need to be mentored, and even those who are very senior many times learn new things, get inspired by the young ones, right? And we are lucky that in this profession we continuously are in touch with very young souls at the threshold of their careers, and that keeps us young in both our thought process and in the approach that we take. So leadership, the collective leadership style, if at all you have to give it a name, right? I try to benefit from the collective wisdom that we do have. Even though I might have some initial thoughts, certain vision, I try to run it through my colleagues, other stakeholders, even students and alumni, pick good ideas, then let the best idea win. That is the way we are.
So, the idea of your leadership is collaborative learning and experience. That's an awesome thought to hear, sir. Glad to have it. So my next question would be that, as we all know that LMIT is one of the best institutes in the whole Rajasthan and in the entire India. How do you ensure this, that the curriculum plan of the institute is one of the best in the country and in the industry?
See, when it comes to curriculum, what we do is that we have a regular evaluation. Practically, that a faculty member can choose to modify the subject matter of his course every semester if she or he wants it. Only thing is that once he or she updates that specific subject matter within the broad guidelines of the structure of the curriculum, this is circulated to all faculty members of the department and also other faculty members of the institute, so that within a stipulated time people could give feedback. Once the feedback is received, if any required fine tuning is found necessary, the teacher himself or herself does it, and thereafter it is shared through the Dean of Academic Affairs with the students. So this is about individual subject. Curriculum per se, however, is also required to be flexible. It needs to evolve. So what we do is that we have a provision of internal academic audit and a regular academic audit involving people from industry and academia also. Apart from that, of course, the presence of people from industry and academia, both in our say various bodies, whether they are the academic affairs committee or they are the board of studies or academic council, everywhere we get that kind of feedback, plus some very useful feedback we also receive from companies who come and recruit our students. We get to know from them that what were their expectations, how much those were met, where are the learning gaps, where are our opportunities to probably engage better in certain areas with them or others. So it is a kind of feedback loop that helps us. In addition to that, we also receive input of different kinds from our own students and also alumni. These things also help us. So in typically 3 to 4 years time, we try to have our academic audit. Every few years we do benchmarking of our curriculum with some of the best chosen institutions in those areas within the country and outside the country. We try to see that we provide as much flexibility as we can. At the same time, do not compromise on the rigor.
Great, sir. So that really motivates me to itself be a part of LNMIIT in my next academic if I can be. So my next question would be that what, according to you, should be the top priorities of an institute, and how does LNMIIT align with it?
See, this is very simple. Top priority of any institute has to be people. When I say people, obviously it is all about students, faculty, staff, and anyone else in our ecosystem we engage with. It is all about people. Buildings don't make an institution. People do. So that is the philosophy.
People don't bring people build up an institution. That's an awesome philosophy that he carries up. So, what is the vision and the mission for LNMIIT? If I say for next 10 years or 20 years, whatever you think of.
Although our vision statement is available on the website also, I will just try, and we have created a strategic plan according to that vision up to 2035 that we call Vision 2035. And there are multiple milestones every 3 to 5 years that we have identified in that, so that we keep on finding out that short-term goals, medium-term goals, and long-term goals we have now with us. And idea is that we plan ahead to meet those goals and probably exceed beyond those goals wherever possible. So while there is a large document which is probably part of this is accessible on the web and rest is available only to people who are inside the system or as part of our ecosystem. In a nutshell, what I can tell you is that we do want to impart education which is contemporarily relevant, where we don't train people for a specific company. Rather, we try to give them the concepts, learning, and ability to reason and apply those basic concepts to any situation which might be known, fully known, partly known, or even unknown, because life is all about mixture of all of this. So you cannot read and mug up a textbook and expect to perform well in life. If you are able to question, you learn far more. The spirit of scientific inquiry, as it is said. So our vision is to evolve into a competitive world-class place of higher learning. We are yet not there. We are still trying to be doing in small steps. We don't believe in ranking per se that much. What we expect is that if we keep on continuously modifying certain things that we do, keep fine-tuning, learn from our own mistakes, learn from the good things that others have done, have our internal thought process strong and philosophy clear, with determination, with the process itself improving itself. Probably what we need to do is that keep upon improving what we are today. It is up to the rest of the world to decide where we stand, rather than focusing on ranks. So excellence is our motto.
Awesome.
That is the point of our vision.
Great, sir. So, sir, one of the most common question which you would have already faced in the recent times, that what do you see as one of the biggest challenges which a university in general has to face in these Corona times or in this COVID-19 times, pre-COVID and post-COVID, and how do you plan to overcome these challenges?
See, our country is a kind of country where you see a huge amount of diversity, which is very good in certain sense. At the same time, this diversity also leads to inequality of certain kinds, which in turn leads to different financial and socio-economic conditions, which get even further noticeable when such pandemic or these kind of adverse situations, they strike and strike for long. So digital divide becomes a little more difficult to handle in these situations, and that is where a little bit of innovation, some flexibility, and some ability to accommodate changes in short time with appropriate training comes into picture. Fact of the matter is, you cannot expect, therefore, that there would be a single perfect solution which will work for everyone, right? That is where the flexibility of thought and flexibility of process needs to come in. I will share with you how did we try to react when suddenly we learned that things are going towards a direction where it could have, where it might lead to sudden lockdown. I'm talking of late February, early March things. We were looking at it day on day basis, trying to figure out what are the things, what are the trends, we noticed that most of the predictions had started going wrong about the pandemic, the way it would unfold, the way it will be controlled, everything else. Both Indian predictions as well as globally anywhere else. So we started planning ahead. Some of our students and their parents were getting little uneasy to whether we will be closing down campus for the benefit of students or not. We told them that please don't mind at this point in time, don't be worried. We are constantly keeping an eye on the situation as it unfolds. We are in touch with policymakers, we are in touch with our own medical team and experts, and we will see that if the need be, we will do the needful. If need be, we will even be able to close down campus operations. The students would be asked to leave, and we would be training our faculty to deliver through online classes. So this we had told students much before the lockdown actually got announced. That was our initial thought process, and because we think as team, many people had different ideas. We deliberated and we had started training even before official announcements came in. So faculty were trained, whatever within the little time we could. We noticed that there were faculty members, for example, who had only desktops. What we did immediately was that we discussed, looked at the possibility and thought about the case that if we need to move them very quickly to work from home, we probably need to enable. So those who had laptops, we said, okay, you just get a graphics tablet as an attachment, right? But if you already have a desktop, obviously I cannot expect them to carry desktop home. So we said, let's go with Microsoft Surface kind of tablets, so that faculty themselves could find it relatively comfortable to deliver wherever they are from. And we enabled that data support to them for obvious reasons. Though had they been in campus, that was not a problem. In some of the cases where problems were still there, for those people who were not comfortable delivering from home, as long as they could safely be on campus and teach, we created a few classrooms where from live classes, almost in the way you would teach in a regular class using the board, was captured in real time. And for, I believe, initially we tried with 3 to 5 classes, but right now I believe more than 8 professors have chosen to take that. Rest of them still prefer a combination, which is either pure online learning with some question answer sessions at appropriate point in time, or they record their lectures early and then they announce discussion session and students interact. In all cases, recorded lectures are made available to students so that those who miss the class can see it or they could use it for revision. There are many teachers also prefer to upload additional course notes or additional slides, etc. Continuous internal evaluation continues. The modes have changed. We also had open book component even before. In some of the cases, we increased the quantum. We had mid-semester and end-semester examinations, even in our summer term, which were based on live video proctoring with pattern recognition with the help of AI assistance. And we tried to get the feedback. We learned what worked, what did not work, continuously modified. So at the same time, we gave our students another option. Some students may not have liked online teaching. So we gave them an option that if you do not like online teaching, rather you would want to do a particular course subsequently whenever campus reopens, whenever, and it is safe enough to come for you. You can simply withdraw from that course or from the entire semester, and we will not charge you 1 penny extra to do that subsequently. However, you should know that that might require you to spend maybe a semester more at a later point in time. So as long as you are fine with the timeline, that if you withdraw now, you may want to do that course later. It can be done only when it is offered again in a particular semester. So as long as your parents and you understand this, we have absolutely no problem. We allowed some people to withdraw from a couple of courses or sometimes even full semester. We also had in our academic curriculum a support for what we call pause. Student can put a degree on pause under multiple conditions. For example, some student at the end of second year or third year decides that he wants to spend probably 1 year in floating his or her own startup. He or she could probably provide the details, run it through the technology business incubator that the institute has. As long as it is a valid proposal, then he makes a request, and without any financial implication on that particular part, he is allowed to take 1 year off, put degree on pause, complete probably that 1 year to found his startup, could come back. Right? We also enable this facility in case of very serious medical or mental health issues. And similarly for some research which could require, so 6 months pause and 1 academic year pause, both are available. So with all of these kind of flexibilities, I believe we could do a few things. I would not say what we did was the best or that was the perfect one, but we are still learning. Our students are learning, our faculty colleagues are learning, staff are learning. While we are innovating, we are also learning.
One thing I'm definitely sure of after listening to you, so that thinking ahead of the curve has definitely helped you in overcoming this challenge and to accommodate students in a much better position among the other institutes. So, sir, my last question for today would be that what is your success mantra or any suggestion you would like to give to the current youth or the students?
One simple thing: believe in yourself. Even if today you find something that is not working, don't give up. Those who keep trying ultimately do succeed. If you think that something you tried and it did not work, just analyze, backtrack a little, go back to what you did. Maybe something you did not do the right way, or something you might have wanted to do differently. Do it then. Ultimately, success will be yours. There are no permanent failures. There are only temporary ways to tell us that there is an opportunity to correct, and that correction will ultimately lead to success.
So, resilience and persistence are, as far as I know, that these are the two things which you have advised to the young generation to be very much sure of in their life, and to never take a failure, and to, if it is a failure, to try a little harder the next time.
Yes, no one can fail. No one can fail unless you allow yourself to be considered a failure. World has no right to call you a failure. You can get up from where you are.
Awesome, sir. So, sir, on the behalf of whole Collegedunia family and all our viewers, I would like to thank you for giving us your time, your precious time, to share your thoughts and your experience to the whole younger generation that could really enjoy your interview. It has been a pleasure to talk to you, sir, and it is personally an honor for me to have a conversation. Thank you so much, sir.
So,
We look to
so nice.
get in touch with you again in the future. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Have a nice.